Welcome to Mooney Reads. My name is Beck, and today I have a book haul. So, I recently went to Powell's for the first time, which is the largest independent bookstore in the US. It's like 2 blocks, multiple levels. I didn't even get to look at all of it. There's so much stuff in there. But I got quite the haul, so I thought I would talk a little bit about what I got. The first book I have is, and the category is Inside New York's Vogue, House, and Ballroom Community. This is one that I've had my eye on for a while, definitely going along with a lot of the LGBT history books that I like to read, so I was pretty excited to find this one. Another one that I've been considering getting for a hot minute is Queer Core, How to Punk a Revolution in Oral History. So this is looking at the underground queer music scene. So both of these are going to be really cool, kind of niche queer histories. Keeping with the theme of music, I also got Route 66 On the Road to Nirvana, which looks at kind of some of the like alt scenes, punk, grunge, etc. I'm excited to look at this. I've actually got a couple of other things that are tangentially related to this. For instance, I recently ordered Kurt Cobain's journals and a few other things, so I'm excited to see this in relationship with that and a couple of other memoirs that I've picked up. The next book I have is The Black Romantic Revolution, Abolitionist Poets, and the End of Slavery. So this looks at poets around the time of Civil War that were involved in abolition, and I think specifically looks at how that poetry shaped more modern poetry and music too. So this seems super cool. It's also got a couple of pretty cool people that blurbed it too. So I'm excited for that. Then going from there, I have several poetry collections. I have Finna by Nate Marshall, which is one that I've seen here and there a little bit. It very clearly is going to look at things like language and race, but I'm really excited to see what else there is. I flipped through it, and it looks like it's going to be really good. I also have My Baby First Birthday, which I had never heard of before. I thought that the cover looked compelling, and then I saw that Mitski blurbed it, and then I saw that Tommy Pico blurbed it, and I mean, honestly, a lot of the time when I'm picking out poetry collections that I've not heard of before, it's vibes only. So I don't know a whole lot about it, but I think it's going to be good. Then I got The Essential June Jordan, which has quite a bit of her works, including some previously unpublished things, and an afterword by Jericho Brown, whose collection, the name is escaping me, but I read it, I think several months ago at this point, but it was really good. I'm super excited to get into some of June Jordan's poetry, and I'll have quite a few to pick from to start with. Then I have a poetry anthology, Living Nations, Living Words, edited by Joy Harjo, and this is a bunch of different Indigenous poetry. So I'm excited to get into this. I've been thinking about getting it for quite a while, and they had a used copy, so I went ahead and picked it up finally. Another anthology that I got is essay rather than poetry, but that is Upon Her Shoulders, Southeastern Native Women Share Their Stories About Justice, Spirit, and Community. So just the general premise, this seems really cool, and it's also kind of related to the TBR that I mentioned in one of my recent videos that focuses on the experience of people in the South and Appalachia, and I was even kind of complaining that I couldn't find nearly as much about Indigenous people living in the South. And then I found this, so I think this is going to be a good one. In the same wheelhouse as looking at the East, South, and Appalachia, I have Black Mountain Poems, which is a collection of poetry from the people who went to Black Mountain College. I had not previously known about Black Mountain College, but it is in Virginia. I definitely looked this up and didn't write it down, so it's going to be on the screen. But it's definitely in Appalachia. I'll actually read you a bit about what the back of the book says. It says, founded with the mission of creating rounded, complete people by balancing the arts and manual labor within a democratic, non-hierarchical structure, Black Mountain was a crucible of revolutionary literature. Although this artistic haven only existed from 1933 to 1958, Black Mountain helped inspire some of the most radical and significant mid-century poets. So this sounds like a cool place to learn about, and certainly starting with, pieces from people who actually went there. It's going to be really cool. I also have At Home in the Heart of Appalachia, which is a memoir of someone whose dad is from Appalachia, and then kind of like looking into his kind of journey, kind of looking into it, which I know that there are some prolific books of people with family members from the region that have done the region very terrible justice. J.D. Vance. So hopefully this one is better than Hillbilly Elegy. The bar is in hell. So hopefully it can at least accomplish that. It definitely seems like it's coming from a better perspective. I'll read you a couple of lines on the back that kind of got me to actually get it. It says, John O'Brien sees through the myths about Appalachia to its people and the mountain culture that has sustained them. He takes to task the naive missionaries and raptious industrialists who are the real source of much of the region's woe, as well as the lingering hillbilly stereotypes. So I'm interested to see how this goes. It was used, less expensive. I hadn't really heard of it before, so I went ahead and picked it up. So hopefully this will be good. I also picked up Salvation on Sand Mountain, Snake Handling and Redemption in Southern Appalachia. Another one that I had not previously heard about, though it apparently was a finalist for the National Book Award. And from the blurb on the back, this focuses on a pastor who tried to kill his wife with the snakes from his church that was one of like the snake handling churches. It sounds absolutely wild. Like, it seems like a really interesting read, and it's tangentially related to kind of several things that I'm in the middle of looking at right now. Obviously this region. I'm also wanting to read a whole lot on not just like cults, but also like evangelism, Southern evangelical Christianity at large. So this is gonna be, I think, an interesting intersection of some of my interests at the moment. Then I have the Collected Schizophrenias, which is one that I've heard a lot of really great things about. This focuses on someone's experience of schizophrenia, and is apparently really well written. I've thought about picking it up for quite a while, just haven't gotten around to it yet, and there was a used copy at Powell's, so now I have it and can hopefully get to it soon. The next book that I have goes in kind of a different direction, topic-wise, but that is Tarot and Astrology, The Pursuit of Destiny, which is kind of a vintagey looking astrology tarot book. It was pretty cheap and looked cool. They have some sort of system that they've put together that kind of assigns, you can like figure out what like your tarot card is based off of your birthday. I don't know very much about it, but it sounds interesting, and I like the neat little like vintage astrology books and stuff like that, so it should be neat. And the final book that I bought is the only fiction book in this pile, and that is When Dimple Met Rishi. This is one that I've seen people mention before. I think that it might have been a bigger booktube book. Before I got on booktube, I didn't find booktube until very late 2019. But it looks like a cute YA romance, and it was only like $6, so I figured why not. I didn't know that they were making a Netflix adaptation. So I went ahead and got this one. Then I actually have 2 more books that my partner got me while we were there. They're both books that I've been wanting to get for quite a while, and they went ahead and got them for me. So first is Settlers by Jay Sakai, the mythology of the white proletariat from the Mayflower to modern. This is one that they've talked about quite a lot, and I'm excited to finally be able to get into it and have my own copy to make notes in. And then the other book is Jesus and John Wayne, How White Evangelicals Corrupted a Faith and Fractured a Nation. Like I mentioned, this is kind of a topic that I've been delving into quite a bit, especially with more of my YouTube watching. And there's a lot that can be said about how all of this is, directly connected and stuff like that. So I'm gonna have a lot of really interesting things to dig into. Naturally, of course, there are the bookmarks, which are free, but still really cool. And I got a mug, which is adorable. So that is my little Powell's haul. If you've read any of these, or if you have a new book that you've gotten that you're excited about, definitely let me know about it down in the comments. Thank you all so much for watching. Bye.